have Miss Judge Cynthia Diane Steele here. She is running for Congress District 1. And guys, we have an election here on Tuesday. And Miss Diane came to Speakeasy Networking this last week. We had her to introduce herself to a lot of our business owners that come to Speakeasy, our networking event that we hold once a month. And she was just so fantastic. I've had the opportunity to hobnob with her over the last couple of months. We run in the same circles. And I am just really proud of her. And I love what you're doing. And I love the stand you're taking for Nevada. And I just really want you to please tell us, with your history and your background and all the things you've done, how does this affect what you're about to do with the new venture with Congress? Like, why exactly should we vote for you?
Okay. I think I've got a real good answer for that question. I have a background in Nevada. I was an assemblywoman in 1995. I was Lieutenant Governor's Chief of Staff in 1996. And in 1997, I prevailed in a judicial race where I was a family court judge for the next 22 years.
Wow.
And during that time, I did a lot of system changes. I brought forth statutory changes for the juvenile division. I brought forth model courts, national model courts, and implemented them into Nevada's model courts so that they could have an opportunity to process the children more quickly through the process. And I insisted that they have an attorney for every child that was in dependency court.
Sure.
Because they really need to have somebody speak for them.
And
I don't care if they're 0,
absolutely.
I don't care if they're 16, they should have an advocate in there. They really deserve it. And so I also changed, I don't know if you heard about the big guardianship problem that was out in our community for a while, and I was the one they came to and said, Judge Steele, would you take this docket and straighten it out, which I did. It took me about a year and a half, 8,500 cases. But
so what was going on exactly?
They were having problems with, there was a master system where the masters would hear all the hearings and make decisions, and then a judge would just sign off on them if nobody did a complaint.
Okay.
And so people didn't know how to make a complaint, and so they just got signed off on. So I went in and I said, look, it should be a judge hearing these, not a master.
Okay.
Because you're making orders that are going to really affect these lives of these seniors. There were a lot of things where the statutory provisions were not being observed, like timely filing of accountings. They were not checking on the senior to see how the senior was actually doing. Rarely did the senior even come to court so you could give them an eyeball and see what's going on. And so we changed up. I was on the Blue Ribbon Commission with Justice Hardesty, and we had several other members, and we just went through all the guardianship laws and rules, and we restructured them. We put in a new bill for the next legislative session to make those changes, and I did. I made court process and procedure changes so that we had them in the court immediately, and we did a lot of things right up front. It wasn't wait. So anyway, so I did that. It took me about a year and a half to get it all straightened out and everything. But I got background in making system changes.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. I also, as a legislator, wrote several laws. So I know how to do that. I restructured the whole chapter 62 for the juvenile division and put it in categories and made it more readable and more accessible and more researchable.
Okay.
So I know how to do those kind of things. So I bring that to the table. As a lawyer, I know how to write statute. I know unintended consequences that might come of those statutes. So I do read everything before I do anything. I read all the cases from top to bottom. And then I hear what people have to say about it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people write really great, and other times they don't speak so well. And vice versa. Some people don't write real well, but they can talk to you.
Yeah.
So that's what I bring. And also, my last 3 years after I retired in 2019, I was a senior judge. So I did mediations between parties to see if we could get them to avoid trial. and work out their differences together on their own terms. And I'm proud to say, I think I might have lost one where I didn't get them to decide to do everything. They may have done it later after my meeting, but in almost every circumstance, I got their divorce and their resolved issue on the record, signed as an order, and done. So I know how to do mediation, I know how to talk to people, I know how to listen to what their needs are, and how can we get as close to your needs and your needs.
And isn't that what politics is all about?
And that's what politics is
and
all about.
And it's got to stop being Republican and Democrat anymore. It has to be about we the people.
It does.
We are all really one people, and we need to learn how to get along down here. We're only here on stopover. I love that you're a great mediator, and I love hearing that when you put something in a statute into play, there could be repercussions on the other side of that. And this is the concern I have as a citizen of Nevada, is all these rules are being put in, all these statutes are being made, especially what I feel like Democrats have done in our election cycle here, like throwing in stuff, tucking it in at the very last minute, and now we're all here, and I don't feel like it's going to be a fair election. I'm a little concerned about that.
As I walk through neighborhoods, people are concerned about it. I've had a lot of people tell me they weren't even going to vote because they didn't think it would matter anyway. It matters.
Yes, it does.
I just want to tell you, it matters. There comes a time when, if only 30% of the population is voting, just think what if 75% voted. And just think what would happen and how we would not be able to cheat our way into, or make it the perception of it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of this is perception.
Yeah.
Some of it is things that happen that you can't prove.
Yeah.
So you can't go to court. As an attorney, you can't go to court and say, I think this happened. You have to say, this happened and here's my facts.
Yeah.
And then you have to prove your facts. If you don't have the facts you need to make the proof, you can't even file the lawsuit.
Yeah.
So, or you shouldn't. I'll put it that way, some people do. So it's really important that we get some handles on our election so that both sides feel like it's fair. It needs to be party proof.
Yeah.
It has to be party proof.
That's
right.
That
it doesn't matter which party is prevalent in the system. Neither one can do something that would look awkward.
Yeah.
And make the people not trust their government.
Right.
We have to have the trust of the people to have government. Yeah. If the people don't trust government, we won't have a government. So we've got to have that trust. I used to, when I was running for the assembly, I would knock on all the doors. And if I saw my opponent's sign out there, I would knock on that door specifically, and I'd say, look, do you want safe neighborhoods? Yes, so do I. Do you want health care for your children? Yes, so do I. Do you want education for your children? Yes, so do I. Do you want jobs? Yes. So we all want the exact same thing. It's just how do we get there?
Yeah.
You know, so I have found that once you find out what is the other side wants and what their fear is of doing it a different way, you have to talk to do that. You can't just say, oh, no, you said you're pro-life, so I'm done with you.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Or we're never going to get anywhere, and nobody will have the stability they deserve from their government. They just won't.
Yeah. It really boils down to communication. And, you know, as a judge, you know better than anybody that people that end up in a courtroom are really having a hard time communicating.
They are.
And I think so many of us, we've all been there at one point or another. And anger sets in, and I feel like there's just so much anger with this election. With what we just saw in this last election cycle, a lot of people are feeling like, you know, we're not getting our fair share. We're not getting the election that we went and voted on. Right. And a lot of people have given up. But I'm here to say too, I'm big into politics because I care, and I'm never going to quit caring about my state. I'm never going to quit caring about my country. I'm never going to quit caring about my fellow humanity. And when I meet people that I feel like I can link up, such as yourself, we need to band together and make good things happen. And we still can do that. And I love the fact that you come from the court system. You're a judge. You're an attorney. You know what it takes to put these things into play, or what could happen if we don't, or what could happen if we do. and a great communicator as well. This is exactly what we need for this position, you know?
I was hearing on the way over here today that if the Republican Party were to get the numbers to where that they're the party in power, so to speak. I hate the word power because it sounds wrong, but that they were going to start some impeachment process and things like that. And I think I would be able to fit that bill as far as keeping everybody, both sides, facts. What are the facts here? Not just what you think might happen, what you want to believe happened. You gotta have the facts, and I think I can keep that temperature in the room. So that's another thing that I bring to the table on that. I would, my first bill I want to write and tell everybody is, if you can't vote for me, you can't give me 1 penny. Guess what that's going to do? It's going to have all of your politicians focus on their constituency in their districts, whatever it is. If you're the president, you have the whole country. If you're a senator, you have the whole state. As a congressperson, you have your district. And those are the people who should be funding you if it needs funding to get your word out. And those are the people that you should be dialoguing with to make sure that you're doing what they want you to do. Not some lobbyist from New York or some other politician from another state who wants to horse trade you. I'll give you this bridge if you'll give me that road. And they're horse trading with my tax dollar.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that we need to expose to the people so they can watch for it, because they don't even realize, some of them, that it's happening.
Well, and this is so important, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is so important. How many billions of dollars did we just give to Ukraine?
Yeah.
And we have families in our country that can't find baby formula. These are our tax dollars, and this is so important. Guys, listen to this. Please hear me. We've got to start in our own backyard, and what she just said is the solution to the problem of government giving our tax dollars to another country, and we're not okay. It's got to start in our backyard, and I love hearing that. You're like, this is it. You don't get to take our tax money and use it for something else.
Right.
It's for our backyard.
Right.
This is where it starts. It starts on the local level. And she's saying exactly what needs to happen. So, okay.
I'm not an isolationist.
Yeah.
I believe in helping our world.
Yes.
But I don't believe doing it at the expense of our people.
Amen.
Because if we're not strong, it's like my mom used to tell me, if you're not well, you can't take care of others.
That's right.
So we've got to really focus on our people. I don't care if you're homeless or if you are a billionaire.
Yeah.
We've got to focus on our people and our needs and making sure that we meet those needs. And that if we want to go green, for instance, let's have a plan. Let's have a 30-year plan. This year we're going to accomplish this, and this year we're going to get here, and this year we're going to get here. And make sure that everybody comes along with it.
Yes.
But you can't just say, oh, we're going to be green tomorrow.
Right.
Because we're not ready.
It breaks the
I
neck
use
of
that as an
Americans.
example.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
this is what we're seeing exactly with inflation, with gas prices.
Right.
You know, they're in such a hurry to go green with our cars, and now we've cut off our nose to spite our face. We don't have enough gas to get to work.
Or to get our product from one state to another state. So we really
We
have
need some common sense here.
We need some common sense, we need some systems, we need some structure, we need a lot of other things to be on the way to that. I don't really know of anybody who hates our world so much that they're willing to put it in jeopardy, but it's like, just like voting. They don't feel like their vote counts. They don't feel like their little recycle bin counts. They feel like that they're not really a part of this big thing going on around them that they have no control over. So it needs to really be, what do you call it? When you see everything, you have to be able to see everything that's going on, explain to the people how it's going to happen, hear from the people before you tell them we're going to cram it down your throat.
Yeah.
We have so many regulations right now that are so hard to overcome that really the states should be making the decisions on them, not the federal government.
Yes.
Our schools, federal government should be out of it.
Out.
They should not
Yes.
have anything to do with our curriculum. And they should not be able to grant us a grant. In other words, more of my money being used to bribe me if I will do it this way.
Right.
They should
It's
not
my
have
own
that
money.
power. It's
Yeah.
our money. So if they have extra money in their, well, we should get rid of the Department of Education. And so as soon as we do that, all that money should be pro rata or whatever
Where
back
we
to the
can,
states.
yep, and we
Yeah.
need to be able to start getting parents to be able to choose what schools
Right.
their
Each-
tax dollars are going for.
Each state should have its own Department of Education, not a national Department of Education, because Nevada has different needs
Yeah.
than North Carolina.
Yes.
You know, they're an agricultural community.
Yeah.
We're powder dry over here.
Yeah.
So we have different things to offer our citizens, different kinds of jobs to offer our citizens. We should educate them for that. If we want some industry to come into our community, we are responsible for figuring out how to get that education level so the company will come.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't be everybody has to know everything exactly the same way, because we are the United States of America, not the uniform, homogenized states of
Yeah.
America.
That's right.
They knew that when they put this Constitution together, that we needed to have some independence in our own sovereignty in each
Yes,
state,
yes.
and yet they've overstepped it by having some legal dispute like Brown versus Board of Education, where the state wasn't doing the right thing, so they sued them. Well, that's what should happen, but it doesn't mean that they then need to have
Take
a
over.
Department of Education.
No, that's right.
The Justice Department should still watch each state and each state's Department of Education. If they want to do their own little in-house education thing in the Justice Department, that's one thing. But to say, we're 51 in the nation, or we're not up to par on this, or we're doing too much of that, that's for our citizens to decide.
That's
period.
right. We'll figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
And there's got to be more people involvement here. And what I want to say, you know, if you're that person that doesn't feel like this matters, or I'm frustrated with it, here's what I want you to know. There's a lot of people out there right now that are listed as an independent on their voter card. Or if you've been into the DMV in the last 18 months, they might have changed your status from Democrat or Republican to an independent. Just know this. If you look at your voter, go online and see how you're listed as a voter. If you're listed as an independent, you cannot vote in the election for like our governor. You can only vote for nonpartisan positions. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that a governor election is very, very important as well.
Yes.
And I have a friend that's working down at the polls, and people are coming in saying, what do you mean I can't vote for the governor? Well, you're listed here as an independent. So you can go down to a local election site right now on site, change your party to Republican or Democrat, whatever that is. But if you change it to Republican, you will be able to vote for a Republican governor. If you change it to Democrat, you can vote for a Democratic governor. Just so you know, there's 2 people voting for Democrat, and there's 16 voting on the Republican Party for governor. And then we have great people like Judge Diane Steele voting for or running for CD. But you can go down to the election offices right now where they're voting, change your party immediately and vote. So it's not too late. Please go down and vote. We've got until Tuesday.
And seriously, I think we have a couple of election cycles that we really need to prevail as far as common sense is concerned.
Yeah.
If we do not do that, 6 years from now might be way too late.
Yeah.
So you have to give it a couple more election cycles, really, truly, to have faith, to give the people that are running for office your support so that they know that they're going to be listened to. And if we can't do it, we can't do it. But I think we can, but we can't do it without you. I know that.
Right.
So please.
Well, and one thing I will say is never before have I seen such a group of patriots running. I think they just poked the bear this time. I mean, people are tired of being railroaded, and I'm telling you, there's so many good people.
There's
like
good people in
Judge
my race.
Diane,
Not just
absolutely.
Me. There's good people in my race.
On the conservative side that are here to listen to the people. They are not career politicians. They're patriots. They're just human beings like you and I that have said enough. I'm going to step in and do my part. But what I love about you, Judge, is that you have such a strong background in communication and the law. And this is exactly what we need so that nobody can pull the wool over our eyes. Somebody to represent us as a group of people that nothing gets past you.
Right. And to tell you what's going on. And that, if you guys don't know what's going on, and then when something happens, you go, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
You should know how it happened before it happens.
Yeah. And that's where
Right.
having someone that is true servants comes in. So I just want to thank you today for being here with us. Guys, go out and vote.
Yes.
Judge Diane Steele, she's got our back. So we just want to thank you for being here.
Thank you, Cindy, and for all of you folks out there that took the time to listen to this podcast or will take the time later. Please, thank you so much. I appreciate being able to dialogue with you too.